What's up, guys? Chico again. So here's what I've been doing in my shop. I have a pretty complicated custom build for a coffee table that this guy wants to match the shape of his very oddly shaped couch. So right now I'm working on, I was given a table saw by my recently deceased friend Chad, rest his soul. Greatest mechanic I've ever met. Taught me a lot. And one day I asked him if I could borrow his table saw, and he was like, yeah, but it doesn't have a fence. He let somebody borrow it once and they brought it back with no fence, and that thing was a piece of junk anyway. It would never stay straight, which unfortunately I'm having the same issue. So it's a Ryobi 10-inch table saw. This guy right here. I've had a lot of issues with this thing, but I've been able to resolve pretty much every one of them just by, taking a look at it, being patient, and figuring it out. So right now I'm working on a sled, or not a sled, fence. And so what I did was I had this piece of aluminum that used to be a fabric covered cubicle piece of some sort. I pulled it out of a dumpster and ripped the fabric off of it, and then I cut it in half because it was basically, it seemed perfect as a track to use. This guy right here, these screws don't get in the way, even though this front side is awful. The back side looks a lot better. So these were another part of the cubicle stuff I found in a dumpster, and I was like, hey, that's good aluminum. I can use that for something. And so when I borrowed the table saw from him, he came back 2 hours later and saw that I had modified the hell out of the whole thing. I added this this top to it. It's been hard to get it flush without having a planer or anything like that. Just did it all by hand with sandpaper, but it's pretty flush for the most part. Pretty level as well. Tacked that down with a few metal screws or self-tappers, and bought a new blade for it. It needed for sure. But so far, I just added this piece of rope to see if adding tension to the back side or the center would help. It didn't. That's just made it harder to move for now. I'm going to remove that. But problem is, it's still got that movement in it, and I'm not sure exactly how to get rid of that, because I don't want to have to square it up every single time I use it, So if anybody's got any suggestions, that would be wonderful. But yeah, homemade table saw stuff. If these ideas even help anybody, that's the only reason I make these videos. Because I just wish somebody had made something to help me out. I'm not trying to make everything out of wood. I got a big old pile of random scrap metal things over there. Pretty much everything I've got in my shop has been either broken when I got it and I fixed it, or I found it in a dumpster. Very resourceful. But yeah, if anybody has any ideas on how to keep this thing perfectly square, or actually if anybody has any good ideas on a locking mechanism for this specific setup, feel free to message me or whatever, because I would love a little couple opinions on this thing. Yeah, man. Let me know what's up. Peace.